The most dangerous person in the room is rarely the loudest. It's the one who speaks less, reveals nothing, reacts slowly, and lets silence crawl into your mind until you start fighting yourself. Welcome to DarkMind Academy. Tonight, you'll understand why silence terrifies manipulators, weakens attention seekers, and gives quiet people psychological control over entire rooms. Most people are uncomfortable with silence. The moment a conversation goes quiet, they rush to fill the gap. They explain too much, reveal emotions too quickly, overshare, defend themselves without being accused. And that is exactly why silence is powerful. Silence creates pressure. Human beings crave emotional certainty. We want reactions, validation, feedback, confirmation. When someone removes those reactions, the mind panics. That panic creates vulnerability. Think about arguments. When both people are emotional, words fly endlessly. But when one person suddenly becomes calm and silent, everything shifts. The emotional person starts talking more, then louder, then faster, and eventually reveals things they never intended. Because silence changes the psychological balance. The calm person looks controlled, the emotional one looks unstable, and perception becomes power. This is why disciplined people don't rush to explain themselves. Every unnecessary reaction gives access to your emotional state. The more people understand your reactions, the easier you are to read, and the easier you are to manipulate. That's why powerful individuals speak carefully, not because they have nothing to say, but because restraint creates mystery, and mystery creates influence. People become obsessed with what they cannot fully read. Those who constantly seek attention often cannot sit in silence. They overshare posts constantly and force conversations because silence exposes insecurity. Meanwhile, emotional independence feels intimidating. It signals that your mind is not controlled by approval. This is why silence unsettles manipulators. They survive on reactions, good or bad, but silence starves them. When you stop reacting emotionally, you remove their control. That's why some people escalate when ignored. They are trying to force a reaction, because without it, they lose influence, and uncertainty is unbearable for controlling personalities. Strategic silence changes dynamics completely. Instead of chasing attention, withdrawal creates psychological space. In that space, people begin to project. Are they angry? Did I do something wrong? Why aren't they reacting? The mind hates unanswered questions, so it creates its own answers, and those answers often amplify your presence without you saying a word.
Silence is often more powerful than arguments. Arguments reveal emotion. Silence conceals it. Arguments make you predictable. Silence makes you unreadable. And unreadability creates tension. This is why negotiators and interrogators use silence deliberately. They ask a question, then stay quiet. Most people can't handle the pressure, so they talk more than they should. In social settings, calm individuals naturally stand out. They don't rush speech. They don't fill every gap. That restraint creates authority, because emotional control signals stability, and stability signals power. But silence has two sides. It can be strength or manipulation. Some people use silence to create dependence. They give attention, then withdraw it suddenly. This creates confusion and emotional attachment through uncertainty. That cycle becomes addictive. Not all silence is power. Sometimes it is control. A mature person uses silence for clarity. A manipulative person uses silence to create anxiety. One brings peace. The other creates confusion. Knowing the difference protects you. Silence is also a form of punishment in toxic dynamics. Some people withdraw to regain control. They want you anxious, chasing, apologizing. And many fall into the trap because emotional disconnection feels threatening. So they overreact just to restore communication. That is how silence becomes leverage. But here's the deeper truth. The world rewards emotional reactions publicly, but respects emotional control privately. People may enjoy loud personalities temporarily, but in serious moments, calm individuals gain trust faster because emotional stability feels safe. Silence also changes how people perceive strength. If you react instantly to everything, people learn your triggers. But if you remain calm, you become harder to read and harder to control. Your reactions teach people how to treat you. Silence interrupts that learning process. This doesn't mean becoming emotionless. It means becoming disciplined. There's a difference between suppression and mastery. Suppression hides emotion. Mastery controls when emotion is expressed. And that changes everything. Truly confident people don't chase validation. They don't argue every insult. They don't explain themselves to everyone. Because confidence doesn't depend on constant recognition. And that confidence often looks like silence. But silence is not just about control over others. It is also about control over yourself. It allows you to observe instead of react. To notice patterns, insecurity, manipulation, contradictions. Most people miss these because they are too busy speaking. Silence sharpens awareness. The loudest person in the room often understands the least. The quietest often understands everything. That understanding creates leverage, because awareness is power. But there's a warning. If silence comes from fear or avoidance, it becomes isolation. True strength is not emotional numbness. True strength is emotional control with awareness, knowing when to speak and when not to. Silence is a tool, not an identity. Used correctly, it creates presence, discipline, and authority. Used incorrectly, it creates distance and emotional disconnection. The difference is intention. Are you silent because you are calm? Or because you are afraid? Are you withdrawing for clarity? Or for control? Your reason changes everything. But one truth remains. The world underestimates quiet people until the quiet person finally speaks. And by then, everyone is already listening. Silence is not emptiness. It is pressure. It is restraint. It is observation. And in the hands of a disciplined mind, it becomes psychological power. Welcome to DarkMind Academy. Most people chase attention, but true power comes from controlling it, not begging for it. If this opened your eyes, subscribe to DarkMind Academy for more psychological insights. And comment. Silence reveals everything. Because the moment you stop reacting emotionally to everything, you start seeing people for who they truly are.